I did a lot of takes of the opening to this because I was a little out of the groove. Missed last week. Missed you guys. Hi, welcome, hello. And in the beginning, I was making fun of like, oh, who's ready for 2022? Like 2021 can suck my dick. 2020 was rough. 2021 on paper could have looked rough, but honestly was probably one of the better years of my life. Looking back on it, it'll be a really good year. Got to spend a lot of time with my parents. Got to lose a lot of weight. Probably gained some of that back. We'll get to that in a second. Started a new job. Started dating someone new. It really did come together. So I'm looking forward to 2022, but 2021 as a whole was not that bad. But I haven't seen you guys in a week. I guess this will be the 2 week anniversary. I missed you. I missed you. You have no idea how much I missed you. Did I say that real seductively? Sexual. I tried to say sex, and then I in my head remembered it was seductively. So that sounded weird. But I did. I missed you. I'm back. 2 seconds. Just thank you to Manscaped and to thefreezepipe.com. I will be telling you more about those guys in a minute. But yeah, since I've seen you, so much has happened. So let me just give you the quick rundown. Thank you to Joey and to Mikey Klein for having me on the joint to end the year. It was always great to see Joey and Mikey, and it's good to talk with friends. That's all I can say about that. I love talking to Joey. Go check that out. At this point, there might be 1 or 2 episodes in between then. I'm not sure, but I'm one of the more recent episodes. The Christmas, my first ever American Jewish Christmas, was fantastic. It was a lot. I actually woke up. For some reason, my girlfriend and I both woke up around 5:30, and every other week that I'm there, that the kids are there, the 3-year-old at like 3 in the morning, I was like, it is time to play. And of course, today for Christmas, nowhere to be found. So I looked over at my girlfriend. I said, should we just wake them up? Because I was ready to go. I was so excited. They had a great time. The food was great. Presents were awesome. Ryan Sickler, I'm coming to see you in April in Boston at Laugh Boston. What show? You won't know. But Ryan, you might know. But you'll have to come to all the shows at Laugh Boston to see Ryan Sickler to see if I'm there. Not performing, just to have an edible and giggle at an old friend. But Christmas was great. We had Chinese food that night. We did the Christian Christmas in the morning and the Jewish Christmas at night. So much fun. And that is, there's also something that you guys didn't know. Something I just got a month or two ago. I got the new MacBook. And there's something in that camera that is made by the devil and magic, because I've had, Joey used to call them spots. I've had skin problems since I've had skin. I've never had a good skin day. And then a couple months ago, I came on here and was like, fuck dermatologists. They never told me about Vaseline, because Vaseline makes it go away. And if there's one thing you need to know about me, if I like something or if something works, I will do it to the extreme and until something bad happens. And it turns out that basically dipping my entire head in Vaseline twice a day was not great for skin, because, let's see, I did Joey's podcast, believe it was Tuesday of the week of last week. No. So the Tuesday before Christmas, I did his podcast, and that morning, or maybe the night, but the day before, I just started getting skin stuff but I'd never gotten it before. Like I've had problems, but pimples were never really my thing. It was just like spots of red, and I just started seeing dots. I was like, I've already gotten chicken pox. What is this? And of course, I feel like I should have limited access to the internet, too much porn already. That needs to be taken. I need to have like a screen time with that, like 5 minutes a week. But also, I should not be allowed access to WebMD or any medical searches because there's something about me that I will find the worst diagnosis. Like they could say, well, it's either an allergic reaction, sorry, grammar, or you have COVID and strep throat and you're dying. And apparently with COVID and strep, you can sometimes get a rash. And so I went immediately to the urgent care because for some reason in America, that's the only place where you can go to actually see somebody. Your own doctor, no. The emergency room, you wait 13 hours. Urgent care is the only place you can actually go and see someone in a reasonable amount of time. Luckily, no COVID, no strep throat. Both of those tests are fun, by the way, especially to do back-to-back is super fun. Get it shoved down your throat and your nose. It's like a weird, terrible orgy. Nothing, but it turns out that I was probably just slathering on so much Vaseline that nothing could come out of my pores and my body freaked out. So I had to take 4 antibiotics a day for a week. And right before as you can see, my trip to Mexico, didn't want to go down there looking like I had to cancel a dentist appointment. I looked, the day that I recorded the podcast, I would put up a picture, but I throw up when I see it. I looked, I don't even know how, it's like, you know how Dick Cheney shot a dude in the face? That's what I am. The buckshot, I just had so many red dots in and around this area. But something about that MacBook Pro, I don't know if you can see it if you look back at that video, but I couldn't see anything. I almost had to cancel my appearance. I would have had my agent call him. No, would have just been like, Joey, I'm sorry. But he would have had me come on anyways. It was the worst thing I've ever had happen to me skin wise, and that should have been. I was worried that I would have had to cancel my trip to Mexico, and it turns out the Lord, whoever he or she or they are, was trying to warn me. Because, and this will be the title of the episode, and I'll just tell you, but then I have to qualify it. This was the worst not even traveling. This was my worst experience in my entire life. And I have stayed in just terrible. When you drive cross country, there's a place in Arizona called the Vagabond Inn. I would rather live in the Vagabond Inn. I would rather live my trip to Cancun made a Motel 6 / halfway house next to a Denny's, but not even a good Denny's. Like a Denny's, you're like, ugh, do we have to go to that Denny's? That looks like the Ritz-Carlton compared to what happened to me. And listen, I understand, hearing someone complain about a tropical vacation, that's going to be fun. Learn from me, and I have a twist at the end to make it positive. I'm a little thirsty. Because it actually taught me a lot, or just showed me what was important. But my misery seems to sometimes make some people happy. So if you hate me, this will be a really good episode for you to listen to. Because from Monday morning until Thursday night were some of the worst days of my life. And to just clarify that, I have had a very easy life. I'm aware of that. But I wouldn't, there are people that I hate. I hate some people. I know you're not supposed to use that word. And you know how I feel about Tom Brady. Even Tom could beat us in the Super Bowl. Let's hope he doesn't. Tom Brady could spit on my face, and I would not tell him to go to the sea dust resort in Cancun. I would not wish that upon, even, to be honest, Hitler, I feel like might not deserve to go to the Sea Dust Family Resort in Cancun. Now, I'm not to say, I don't want to come off as totally blameless, because I am not totally blameless. I made many mistakes. Not the mistakes I usually make. I normally try to go to save money. Not the case. My girlfriend and I each spent thousands of dollars to go to this trip. Under 5, under 4. Well, I'll tell you. You know what? Transparency. We each spent $3,000 for this week. I haven't taken a vacation in a decade. She hasn't really taken a vacation in a very long time. And you know what? I just got a job. Things are going well. She has 2 beautiful little girls that she takes care of all by herself. I'm there on the weekends for them to jump on, but I'm really, no, I make it work. I make it harder because I like to have fun, and I'm not in charge. So she probably needed a break way more than I did. And I've been made fun of for using Yelp, and I will never ever be ashamed to say that I look at reviews again, because I made one of the key mistakes that I made was where and how I booked it. Because you might be like, oh, Lee, was this last minute? By the way, which I did not think it was last minute. I have found out since that 6 weeks is not enough time to book a vacation before. Apparently, in adult world, you should book a vacation 3 to 4 months in advance. Seems a lot for me. But to get a decent, and by the way, you might be like, oh, you went really extravagant. We thought we were being smart, because to fly around Christmas time, the New Year's time, was just very expensive. And we're like, oh, well, we'll get a really nice hotel. We got the nicest room they have. Turned out not so nice. But at least all the food will be taken care of. We're not big drinkers, but we'll drink a little bit. And it'll be about the same, or maybe even a little bit less than just going to Florida. And we won't have to worry about going anywhere. Turns out we should just, and I don't want to place this on everything, because I'm sure if I was ever going to do all-inclusive again, and I probably won't, but if I do, I would go to I think the only way to really do it is to go where you have to spend an outrage, I thought $3,000 a person for 5 days, 5 or 6 days, was a good amount of money. I thought that was to be honest, was about $1,000 more than I wanted to spend personally. I thought 2 would be, you have a good vacation for $2,000. I thought that was enough. But you're with your girlfriend, I don't have low standards. I don't need very much to be happy. I talked about it on here. All I wanted to do was eat and chill. I just wanted a nice, comfortable bed, a TV, and I'm in the ocean. We'll go to the pool. We'll go to the beach, which we did. We find out about it. And I want to eat. I want to eat outright. I haven't eaten for 13 months what I want to eat. I've convinced myself that cauliflower rice is good. And rice cake. The highlight of my week is rice cake day. Caramel rice cake day. I wanted to live it up a little bit and celebrate. And both my girlfriend and I have had friends who have used, what is it called? Travel agency website called Cheap Caribbean. Turns out that was mistake number 1. Should have known anything with the word cheap in it, and a Jew, that's 2, you can't. That was on me. I shouldn't have booked it there, and I also should have looked at more reviews. Although, to be fair, the majority of the bad reviews that you're going to look up, because you should, and maybe leave 1 or 2 for the Cancun. If you've been there, I don't want to sick you people on them, but this is for anyone. I'm gonna put it in the title. If you are watching this podcast, if you've made it this far, and you might not know who I am the ghost of Vacation Future, and if you're thinking about going to the Cancun Sea Dust Resort, here's what I would recommend. Take your money. You know how Pablo Escobar had to burn money to keep his daughter warm? Take your money and recreate that scene and just don't eat for 4 days. And, turn the AC off, turn the heat up to like 74 degrees. That would be nice. That'd be smart. A lot. I'm getting ahead of myself. Just don't go. Please don't go. I'm begging you, stay home. I don't care where home. If home is Antarctica, you'll have a better time in Antarctica. So I made a mistake. Cheap Caribbean. We checked out the reviews on there. Some good, some bad. There's always here's the thing. I came up with a new rule. I'm gonna launch. I have a new job. We're doing this podcast. New website coming soon. It's Yelp 2.0. It's Lelp. We'll figure it out. What I want to do is make reviews transparent, and I want to see who the people are, and I want to see what else they like so that I can qualify their reviews. Because there's always I've only written, that's not true. I've written like 2 reviews. One for the zipline place. If you're an old church person, you know what that is. And B, I think maybe a Denny's. Speaking of Denny's, because they, up until this vacation, had given me the worst food experience I think that I've ever experienced. So there's always going to be some bad reviews. So I was like, you can't put too much stock into those. There's always going to be a bad one. And there was a lot of good ones. But we didn't check every site, and that is a mistake that I made. Like I said, I also apparently booked it too late. I used to just book stuff the week of, 2 weeks out. This was like in November. We booked it at least 6 weeks out. I thought I was doing good, not so good. And then also with the all-inclusive, I think the allure of it is, you're never going to have to take money out. Not the case, by the way. You feel like an asshole if you don't tip. I went to the strip club and got a whole bunch of ones, because that's the only place you can get ones. I went into the strip club, got a whole bunch of ones. I was giving out ones like it was my birthday. I was trying to be nice with all these tips. So you're going to have to give money out anyways. And 2, and I'm sure there are some good all-inclusives with even average food. I would have literally made out with an old man with no teeth for just edible food this last week. It was, when I say the food was bad, it was like almost like we were in an episode of Punk'd, or for the older viewers and listeners, Candid Camera. We ordered room service when we got there because we were hungry. We flew all day, went through customs, which is always a blast. I should have known, a legit thumb. It was like someone was doing a police like check-in, like that someone got arrested, and they were just putting their thumbprint so they could scan it in the system. The biggest thumbprint in anything that I've ever seen, but there was plastic wrap over it. So they just grabbed it and were careless. That happens. I didn't eat it. I ate the other half. I didn't eat that half of the sandwich. But I'm even skipping ahead a little bit. We get through. Check-in's great. There's people out there. Oh, so nice to see you, Mr. Syatt. And they give us water and everything. Here's another mistake I made that I haven't mentioned yet. If you can't I've only been on one cruise in my life. It was 2000. I was 12 years old. And my dad was so excited for this cruise that he made the dinner reservations months in advance. Might have even been a year, because it was for the Y2K. We were going to be on a cruise in case the world ended. My dad just liked Disney. But he made the reservations as soon as we booked it. At this place, this piece of shit. Sorry. No reservations, no menus. We just, it's a secret. It's a secret. but they have food. They have 5 or 6 restaurants. It's a steakhouse. They have a teppanyaki place. They have a French bistro that only adults are allowed at. No reservations and no menus online. That is also a red flag that I was just so excited to do nothing and sit by the beach and be with my girlfriend and not be cold that I was stupid. This is definitely on us for booking it, but the thing that is really frustrating about all of this is I'm not gonna even say I'm a good person. I like to try to not be a bad person. I lie. I do. Yeah, I'm not great. I've stolen stuff from Target. Sorry. I came back. And I paid for it. I felt bad. I took a drink from the airport on the way there. Maybe that was why. I did. There was a big line, and I took a walk. I'm sorry. But the fact that the people who run this place feel okay treating human beings I worked in restaurants and service industry from the time I was. So CVS, you don't really serve food, but I guess you do. If the milk's outdated, you got to pour it out. But I worked in movie theaters and restaurants from senior year of high school up until I graduated college. And if you burn popcorn or if something's overdone, you don't send it out. That's all. You send out semi-fresh food. That's all I'm asking. Semi-fresh. But again, we're skipping. We get into the room, and let's just forget that the elevators take 10 minutes to come down. Who cares? That any of these small things together, who cares? I'm being a whiny piece of shit. We get into the room, no AC, no mini fridge, which, by the way, has drinks because we paid for all-inclusive, and no phone to even call down to let them know there was a problem. I had to hold it. You know when your headphones break and you have to wrap it around and do it in an angle and stand on your head to get stuff to work? I finally got it to work once, called down. Oh, and the TV remote didn't work either. So after hour and a half, they come up. They give me a new fridge. That's great. They give me a new phone. That's great. The AC, my favorite thing about living in an apartment was people telling me that the AC worked when they were there and could feel I'm not 300 pounds anymore. I'm not hot all the time. I don't need it to be 60 degrees. I get it. It's Mexico. It's hot. The lowest the AC could go was 73 point something degrees, which, as my girlfriend pointed out, is not a level that we heat our house to when it's snowing in 0 degrees. It should at least be able to get to 70. And you might be like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's what they do. First of all, you should tell people that it's only going to be 73. If you can sleep in 73 degrees, I think you should be able to win America's Got Talent. Because and by the way, it can be 73 in one part of the room, but in the bathroom or at the front of the room, it was much closer to 80. But you know what? After 12 hours going around to see managers, sending people up, the manager wasn't great. He was okay at best. There were some people who were sort of nice. The majority of people who were working at this resort were very nice, which is the only reason why I didn't cry and just shit myself on the floor in the front lobby. But they sent up a bunch of people at like midnight the first night. They finally sent up. They wanted us to maybe switch rooms. It was the same. And they were like, listen, the door was open from you walking in. So it needs to cool down. But meanwhile, there's no breeze of AC. It was 70. They just don't let it go below 73. And they finally told us that. They brought in a portable unit, which when you pay extra money to have a ocean view room, like a room that literally nothing but ocean, you definitely want a big black bar in your sliders and a portable AC. That's what you want. That's what you're going all the way there for. But if that was it, that would have been fine. Which, by the way, also, as soon as you plug the portable AC in, an hour later, my girlfriend was trying to blow dry her hair, and I don't know if you've ever had the entire room of power go out, but that's fun. From blow drying your hair. No, not like literally everything went. I had to go downstairs, get somebody to come up. Took a lot longer than it should have to be without power. But if it was just the AC, it would have been a complaint. But I would have been in Mexico for the entire week, living it up. I would have come back tan. Would have been high-fiving people at the airport. Ay. I would have maracas right now. But the food was so... Listen, I ate Subway for years. I on purpose. I enjoyed a Subway tuna melt. No one even knows if it's tuna. In the past couple of years, there have been multiple exposés written about the what is in the tuna, in Subway tuna. I would have chopped off a hand if they had Subway tuna at this resort. Not only was there a thumbprint in my sandwich, a legit thumb, like a thumb in my sandwich, everything was cold. I've never had cold A, toast, and B, French fries before. I understand that you probably have to make some things in advance. I'm not looking for world-class dining, although for the amount of money we spent, I think it might be a little bit above average. But, that was a mistake. Okay, all-inclusive. You're going to get okay food. The food was so bad. My girlfriend spent all of her second to last day there puking. My poop were colors that I didn't even know existed. The first day we didn't even get into dinner, by the way, which because you can't make reservations in advance, it's like you're living in the Warsaw Ghetto where you have to line up to get your scraps. We didn't know. We came down at 6:30. No restaurants to be found to get. We'll call you. We'll call your room. Go upstairs, relax. No call. We had to go back to the room service with the thumb in it. Like just so aggressive thumb. It would have been better if there was just a regular sandwich with a thumb in it. So no food that first night. We go down to the buffet for the breakfast next morning. We'll get there early. It'll be hot. It'll be fresh. I've never seen pre-made omelets before. You might think there might be an omelet station. But I'm actually kind of a fan. I don't hate microwavable bacon. That's kind of pre-cooked. Put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. It's not great, but it tastes normal. It doesn't taste like there are chemicals in it, or it is made entirely of chemical. The bacon at this resort, I'm going to pretend that it was bacon and that the animal that it had been killed within the last 7 years. Maybe they just forgot about it in the fridge. It was in the freezer. It was even better. It was in the freezer, and they just forgot about it for a little bit. This bacon had a taste to it. That the only thing that made me miss this bacon was the steak. And by the way, you might be like, "Oh, was it at the buffet?" No. We went to the steakhouse. There's a steakhouse. You can't mess up a steak at a steakhouse. You can't mess up a steak. Even a IHOP, Denny's steak might not be good, but it'll allow you to survive. We had all these complaints for like 2 days. The manager didn't really care, but was trying to be okay. He said, "You know what? I'll pull the little strings. I'll get you into that steakhouse tomorrow night, or tonight. Sorry, because we complained. Oh, we didn't get into it. We didn't eat yesterday. I'll get you into the steakhouse. It's the hardest seat to get here." We get to the steakhouse. We sit down. Things are looking up. We have an empanada that is not hot, but it's not freezing cold. Okay. We messed up by getting room service. I've never missed steakums so much in my entire Steakums and their Twitter. They're very nice people. Steakums are, let's just say, not great. They're not great. But I would have stripped in front of, I don't know, my parents and my girlfriend's parents for a steakum sandwich over this steak. There's very little that I would walk away from. Maybe order something else on the menu. My girlfriend and I each took one bite of our steak, which took a while to cut, even with a steak knife. That's not a good sign. Took one bite. It didn't even, not even a bite. We took one. It entered my mouth. I swallowed it like a pill because I didn't want to spit out in a restaurant. And we didn't even speak. At this point, we were so angry already. But my girlfriend and I just looked at each other, and we left. We didn't say goodbye to anybody. No one. Well, oh, is something wrong? Just like, oh, this happens all the time. It tasted like beef jerky that got burnt, but they're like, well, we can't throw it away. The sea dust in Cancun gives us money. We put all the stuff that got burnt and we can't sell as beef jerky. We give it to them in trash bags, and they just put it in some water for about 3 weeks, and then they put it in a microwave. And then they serve that about 30 to 45 minutes later. It was so bad that I was scared for my health. And at that point, we had found some new bad reviews, talked about food poisoning, which I'm scared of a lot of things. Bugs. Not a huge fan of lizards. Not a huge fan of heights. STDs are terrifying. But food poisoning, as a former really fat person, current sort of fat person, food poisoning is a kind of scary because I've survived without sex for multiple years. If food was taken off the table, it would be a very sad day for me. And the thought of just puking and pooping for days at a time, like if anything is a second past the expiration date, if anything even looks, I've never once smelled raw chicken or milk and been confident that I can eat it. I have other people smell that stuff for me. I can't get food poisoning. I can't. It would be the end of my life. So at that moment, when the power had gone out on the second day, and a steakhouse was inedible, that we just walked across the hall to the premium buffet. And this is fun. You pay all this money to go, and we went. The first buffet had pre-made, what are they called? Omelets. The eggs both looked dry and wet. The bacon tasted like I don't like a chemical that was formed into the shape of a bacon. But there was another buffet that we're like, oh, let's try that one out. We get up there, and I'm pretty sure they had a South Park about this. There was a premium level of this resort that we were not a part of. We only had the blue wristbands, and we had the gray wristbands. And when I tell you that the line to go pay more money to be a part of this premium club was out the door because of how bad the food was at the rest of the resort. It was at that moment. This is how I knew that whatever you believe in, knew I had to get out, because and by the way, I have no problem with Delta, although I kind of do because there was no AC on the flight back. But the fact that the guy who owns this resort and the guy who runs, or the people who run Delta, are okay with treating people in such a terrible way. Like, I tried to call Delta, hours long wait, like at multiple hours. I've spent over 2 hours on hold with Delta. I had to text Delta from Mexico, which is fun. Delta paid my girlfriend and I each $400 to leave 3 days early. Supposed to leave on Saturday, we left on Thursday. They gave us each $400 back, which is a start. But by the way, the fact that I made the decision to leave hurts me. Not only was it a financial, but it won't be, because I'm warning. Just a little shout out to Citibank. That was the credit card that I put this on. You have done nothing wrong up until this point, but I'm just warning you that I come from a family of determined Jews, and I was born and bred not for sports, not for education, and not for really anything other than this. My family has made people reconsider careers. I've had people who have quit mid-call with I personally try not to complain because of the Olympic level complaining that I've witnessed. I will get at least half of this money back. If I have to pay for the flights, we were on the flights. But I would rather spend every cent I own in court fighting the sea dust on this, because the only reason we didn't leave earlier on Wednesday, and we actually found out we could have, is we had to get a COVID test to get back into America. So that's the entire reason we stayed Wednesday too. We're like, okay, we'll stay Wednesday, we'll get the COVID test, and then we'll go home. I am so excited because this episode is brought to you by Freeze Pipe. And smoking weed with the Freeze Pipe doesn't have to hurt your lungs. With Freeze Pipe, you can get an ice cold hit every time, and without the fuss and muss of having to put in new ice cubes. The Freeze Pipe comes with a detachable chamber that you freeze beforehand. Buy an extra chamber so you can just go boom, 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 boom. Reuse them because you're going to want to, because they make smoking weed a pleasure. Whatever you smoke, it's a pleasure with Freeze Pipe. The smoke passes through the frozen part and coil, and it cools it down. It's amazing. It's like putting fresh Christmas morning, Hanukkah morning snow into your bong, but better. It's non-toxic. It freezes faster. It's a lot less messy. Freeze pipe is the best thing to happen to weed since weed. It cools down the smoke by hundreds of degrees. Your throat, your lungs, your friends, your weed will thank you. Your weed will be happy to have been smoked through a freeze pipe product. They have a pipe, they have bubblers, they have bongs, you can do dabs. If you smoke it, freeze pipe will let you smoke it from their product. That wasn't written down. I said that and it really didn't work, but you got the hint. Go to thefreezepipe.com. That's the hardest part about it, is their website has the at the beginning. Everything else couldn't be easier. It's thefreezepipe.com. Press in code Lee to save 10% off of your first order. Get your bong, pipe, or bubbler today. That's thefreezepipe.com and use code Lee, L-E-E, to save 10%. If you can smoke from it, Freeze Pipe makes it. I love Freeze Pipe. I'm not a big proponent of drinking. I've never been a big drinker. The only way, you've never heard me tell stories about being drunk, the only way that we survived this trip was by getting so drunk on one day that I'm not, and luckily, thank God, I'm actually a better person drunk than I am sober. I high five people. I'm just happy. A lot of times if I see people, I like people that I like in small groups, but big groups I'm not a fan of. For some reason, when I drink, I'm a fun person to be around. I know I'm drunk because I start making that. I start pointing at people like, hey, how I'm giving ones out? I'm going to give you a 5. Keep those tequila shots, and who knows what kind of tequila they were. Because I'm 33. I'm too old to be taking shots. But the alcohol that they were putting in the margaritas, I'm not sure was alcohol. But we found out that if you get shots, they give it to you from the good stuff. And in about an hour, took 6 tequila shots. And I lost my sunglasses. That's fine. At a certain point, my girlfriend and I were being not escorted, we were being helped to our rooms because of how upsetting the notion that we had to spend 24 more hours at this Sea Dust Resort was so upsetting that at, I believe, 11 in the morning, 6 tequila shots. We slept, and the only good thing about it was we slept from about 12 or 1 until 7 o'clock. We just slept the day away because they were, and it was, and the only reason I'm not proud of this, the only reason I'm telling you this is because I know that at some point the Sea Dust will see this, and they'll I didn't want them to be like, well, they were causing a problem. We didn't cause a problem. We were talking to people at the beach. They were probably mad because we were telling the truth. And everyone we saw, do you like it here? It's not terrible. No one wanted to be the one to say it. It's like when you're in a relationship too long, but you have their Netflix password and it's their birthday in 3 weeks, and you're like, I can't break out. If they're fine, but you already know you're gonna break up with them. Every single person that I met either had never been there before or wouldn't go back. And the only saving grace that this place has is if you have kids, apparently. I don't have kids. My girlfriend has 2 little girls. And I've only known them for about 3 to 4 months. I would imagine this is why I want people who write reviews to be able to know who they are, because this place has like a water slide and some mini golf, some stuff kids might like, apparently. And everyone said, "Oh well, my kids don't really care about food." If the French fries are cold at the beginning, not even like, oh, it took 30 minutes to get there. We got ice cream one night. The sprinkles were crunchier than the cone. I've never had crunchy sprinkles. Like, you could hear them from miles away every time you bit down. The fact that anyone would willingly put their children in I believe in harm's way eating whatever food that was is terrifying. Like, no, I would almost guarantee that no one has ever returned to the sea dust. And the positive, and the reason I'm doing this, because otherwise it's just an hour-ish, 48 minutes-ish of me whining and complaining. Because you know what? Here I learned two things. I'm going to end with the biggest one. First thing I learned is there are still very good places. Because not that vacations are a waste, but I feel what I was thinking when I was on my drive over, what I thought and the conclusion I came to is that a lot of times I feel like with vacations, you're trying to escape something or make yourself happy because you weren't happy before. My girlfriend and I got home Thursday night, and we went to McDonald's. Well, I haven't been in a year, 13 months. The old 9 p.m. Kind of stale bun McDonald's. It was so delicious after not eating for 4 days. We went to a place, and I want to give a positive shout out. There's a place called the Cedar Street Grill in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. If you're in the New England area and you've been to Sturbridge Village, that town was the most delicious meal I've had all year. And not just because I was in the hell of the sea dust. Which, by the way, look out for my reviews there soon, because my lunch break for the next foreseeable future is going to be writing reviews in every language on every site possible. But what I figured out about vacations is the location really isn't the most important thing. Because the 3 days or whatever, 3.5 days that my girlfriend and I had at her house, we got breakfast at one day. We went out to dinner with her friends. We went out to breakfast another day with her friends. I think the vacation is more about who you're with, and the only positive that really came out of this trip was when all this shit started going down. And I've been with my girlfriend for about 5 months. I was almost positive that not only was this vacation going to be a disaster, but I just imagined us sitting 7 rows apart on the plane, because spending a week with somebody for the first time, like a full no interruption week, could lead to fights. But when there's no AC, no food, no, and like the casino was closed. There might have been a show, but we were too busy shitting green to see it. I'm pretty sure the karaoke bar was closed. We couldn't get into dinner. I was almost positive we were going to break up on this trip. And we not even close. Cheers to 2022. Happy New Year, and to a resolution that you can actually keep and will last. And that resolution is going to be having the cleanest and shiniest balls all year round. And whether or not you have balls, maybe you just have someone in your life and you love their balls. Make a resolution for them, one that they'll keep and you can keep for them with Manscaped. Manscaped is here to make your balls this year the cleanest and sexiest they've ever been. Set your New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped like me with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code Syatt, SYATT, for 20% off plus free shipping. It's new year, new balls, and there's no one else I trust with my balls more than Manscaped. They have so many great products, from the Performance Package 4.0 and their brand new Ultra Premium Body Wash. You're going to smell and look great. You can also trim your pubes with a lawnmower. They got a nose and ear hair trimmer. They give you gifts with the Performance Package. They give you boxers and a shed that carry everything around. And listen, you need Manscaped in your life. Maybe you got a shitty gift at Christmas. Now give yourself the gift of clean, sexy, shiny, and delicious balls. There's only so many ways and so many times I can tell you that Manscaped will make your balls delicious. I was supposed to go like this. Like, I did that wrong, but that noise, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Delicious. Manscaped will make your balls delicious in 2022 and beyond. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Syatt, SYATT, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use code Syatt, SYATT. It's a new year with no pubes in 2022 with Manscaped. Like, I've been in other relationships, friendships, eating chips, whatever you want to say, that when things start to go bad, it really kind of shows you how you feel about each other. It's easy to have a great relationship when all you're doing is fucking and no responsibility and the sky is blue and whatever. Everyone's been on a bad date. The server fucked up. They couldn't find parking, whatever it is. You find out the guy is short. You girls have been there. That was the only bright positive part of this. Here's my marketing strategy for the Sea Dust. Do you want to see if the person you're with is a good person, or conversely, are you looking for a way out of your marriage? Is your relationship on shaky grounds and you don't have the balls to just cut it off? Come to the Sea Dust and just let us take care of ending any happiness you may have. Any relationship you have, if it is not a happy one from the beginning, you're going to leave here single and ready to mingle, because we are the Sea Dust. It was just, I've never seen anyone mess up toast. After puking for a whole day, I got my girlfriend some toast. I was like, hey, please eat something, because I swallowed down a room service burger that, on the plus side, didn't immediately make me feel sick. So that's good. That was the highlight of the weekend, of the week. But I tried to. She bit into toast and it just sort of remained in the same shape. It couldn't tear. And it was cold, which is it really is a scientific miracle that is possible. It was just so. Other than my misery, my point in for this podcast, and for anyone out there looking to book a vacation. Obviously, don't go to the Sea Dust Resort ever in Cancun. Never, ever. Please, it's only 4 years old. It was built in 2017. Maybe 5, depending on when it opened. Beyond ever going there, because I felt it in the past decade that I never took a vacation. I took short ones, but I never took a long, fun vacation. And now I realize I wasn't missing out. But I would feel not guilty, jealous of friends going to Hawaii, going to Europe. If it and everyone's different, and I'm sure there are fun places to go in Hawaii and Europe. For me, I think I would have had just as much fun, or would have had for this trip. I would have had way more fun just finding somewhere with a nice hotel and like 3 or 4 really great restaurants, and just doing. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to have to get to the airport. And by the way, this is how bad the Syatt was. I haven't even told you about. There was a person whose entire job it was at TSA was to just stack the bins. My girlfriend got her pulled to the side because her headphones, I don't know, they looked strange in her bag. It took us 40 extra minutes to get through security because some guy was just there stacking, and while only one person was going through everyone's bag because no one knows that you can't put liquids in your bag anymore. It's only been a decade. But all of that, all of the stuff that is supposed to make a vacation better, flying to it, going to an all-inclusive, all these things, it's time away from doing nothing. I don't want to do anything on vacation. I don't want to shower. I don't want to put clothes on. Frankly, I would be so happy if when they float around in those little hover chairs, that is my ideal vacation. So maybe that isn't for you, but the main thing stands is if you're going to go on vacation with somebody, make sure it's someone who could survive a nuclear disaster with. Because that honestly, the fact that we didn't fight once on this trip amazes me. And I've done it in other relationships. You go on a vacation, you buy a gift, you do something like this will make us not hate each other now. They really want to go away. Let's go away. Just stay home and just if there's anything I learned for 2022 is to not put so much pressure on having fun and trying to make fun out of nothing. If you love hiking, go hiking. Why do you have to go to the Mojave Desert? I think all of that stuff is so overrated now. Like we're going to do a redo trip at some point when I get this money back, and we're thinking Chicago. Go sit by the Great Lake. It's a 3-hour flight, no customs. It'll be working Wi-Fi, AC that can go to 65. I'm getting a little bit long-winded here. Have fun. My goal for 2022, this is my resolution, is to make things as easy as possible for myself. And I think that gets a lot of shit. I think people are like, oh, you gotta make things, you gotta struggle. No, I'm trying to make. And by the way, this is one of the last 4-ish episodes in this office. You might be able to see a difference with the desk at some point, and I guess maybe the lighting we'll have to see. But I'm getting rid of this office because it served me well. But I work from home now. I'm just trying to put, whether it's vacations or dating or jobs. Like, I love this new job I'm at after a month. I've spent so long just be getting attached to certain things. And like, okay, I got to go on vacation. I got to do all inclusive. I got to go to Mexico. Everyone goes to Mexico. What about a hotel 30 minutes away? I bet they have food. And that's it. I'm just so happy. The fact that a McDonald's at 10 o'clock at night in Worcester, Massachusetts was heaven this week will just tell you everything that you need to know about my trip in Cancun. And I'm wearing this shirt because I paid for it, and I didn't get to wear it. I wasn't feeling in a very island boy mood in Cancun. So that's all I have to tell you is, please, for the love of God, never ever go to the Sea Dust Family Resort in Cancun, Mexico. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors for this week. Thank you again to Manscaped.com. Like I said earlier, go to Manscaped.com and use code Syatt. That's SYATT. And you're going to get 20% off of your order with free shipping. That's Manscaped.com. Use code Syatt to get 20% off plus free shipping. Also, thank you, and I love thefreezepipe.com. Okay, go to thefreezepipe.com. Check out everything that they have. From the bubbler, to the bong, to the pipe, to the windows, to the walls. Go to thefreezepipe.com and use code LEE, L-E-E, to save 10%. That's thefreezepipe.com and use code LEE. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you next week.